Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tipoff 2024-2025. Larry Kelly is with me, and we're on Poniewasz, and we are your Tipoff tandem and award-winning Tipoff tandem. Larry Kelly is a member of the Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly & George law firm. He is a assistant basketball coach, boys basketball for Newcastle. He's also an assistant coach for Penn State Shenango baseball, former Shenango varsity baseball coach. He also dabbled in a little private school basketball coaching way back in the day.
Holy Redeemer. The fifth and sixth grade girls never had more fun coaching than I did. I actually wrote a book about it called Cutting Down the Net. So, I have a varied background, and I'm a lawyer, and I'm proud to be one, and I thank God every day that I'm able to do what I do. But always wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be a teacher and a coach, and I graduated with a teaching degree from Slippery Rock. But back when I graduated from undergraduate school, teaching jobs were few and far between. They were actually laying off teachers. It was kind of the only time in the history of the state of Pennsylvania. So I came out of school kind of at the wrong time. But had I gotten a job as a teacher, I would have always been a teacher. It's all I want to do, teach and coach.
And he's also one of the many stars of Annie. So we got to throw that out there too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Nobody's called me a star, used the word star and Larry Kelly in the same sentence in a long time, but it was a great performance. A lot of talented people in that show. Let me tell you something. You'd be surprised at the amount of talent, not only in Lawrence County, but we had performers from Mercer County, Allegheny County, and it just the people are so committed to the Newcastle Playhouse. They do a great job.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we are your tip-off tandem, your award-winning tip-off tandem, and we're here for a reason, and that is to talk basketball. We have a few items to discuss. First off, we will tell you about somebody that is a record setter at Newcastle High School, but not in basketball. That'll be Athlete of the Week. We'll have our talking points. Larry Kelly will tell you all you need to know about the Newcastle boys basketball team as they're coming off a really impressive week. We'll mix in a little bit of the girls basketball team as well, the Lady Canes. We'll tell you about perimeter shooting in basketball and what we have to say about that. And as we close up shop, we will do a real quick observation of Pittsburgh Steelers football in a segment that Larry likes to call Good Cop, Bad Cop. But first, we have Athlete of the Week, and it is Newcastle High junior bowler, Jonah Clare. He had a 3-game set last week of 208, 266, and 289 for a composite count 763 series. Both are program records, the high game of 289 and the series of 763, and they did that in a 7-0 win over Butler. Larry, how's your bowling game, and what can you say about Jonah Clare's bowling achievement?
That is impressive, Ronnie. That is impressive. And you're talking to a guy who has a hard time breaking 100 when he bowls. So when I see a bowler that can put up a 289, which I think is one strike short of a perfect game, which is 300, and a 763 series, it's no fluke. This young man's the real deal. This is special stuff. Really, really worthy of Athlete of the Week. I commend you guys for finding Jonah Clare and his performance last week. I've never seen anything like it from a high school bowler. Have you?
No, I haven't. And here's an interesting thing, Larry. For the last couple of years, I know we're going to cross sports here, but Joe Roth, great swimmer, going Division I in college, and Larry Kelly had mentioned many times, he very well could be an Olympian in swimming.
Absolutely.
I read over the weekend that Youngstown State University has a guy from Quebec, I think it is a bowler, and he's going to the Olympics, and he attends YSU. Jonah Clare, he's a junior. He's got obviously another year. I know it's a lot of pressure to say, hey, he could go to the Olympics, but he keeps this up. Maybe he gets a Division I scholarship to bowl in college, and who knows, keeps it up. 289. If he can go consistently, 289 is 289. That's got to be close to Olympian type effort.
Well, I mean, I think again, it's one strike away from a perfect game. I'd like to know when he had that. He had a spare in a frame somewhere. But just as impressive as 289 is a 763 series. You said his second highest game was in the 260s, and third highest, I think you said, was 202. That's impressive stuff. And this young man's obviously dedicated to his craft. It doesn't happen overnight. It's like anything else. My father used to tell me that if you want to be successful at whatever your game is or your profession, you have to be a student of the game, meaning that you got to eat, drink, sleep it 24/7. And that's what this young man obviously does. I commend him. This is impressive stuff. This is like scoring about 289. It's like scoring 40 in a hoop game, as I see it. There aren't many guys scoring 40 in a hoop game.
And, I don't know how well you would understand this, or, well, maybe not understand it, but know this. We used to type bowling scores here.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Let me call my friend Kayleen Cubble.
Yeah.
We used to type bowling scores every night.
Yeah, me too. Well, Jonah Clare's name appeared a lot of times in those colonial juniors leagues, the majors and bantams and things like that. And now here he is bowling in high school. I'm not sure what happens for youth around the county in terms of that. We don't have bowling alleys anymore, so we're not getting bowling scores turned in anymore. I don't know how youths develop. They're going to have to go out of town, maybe to Mercer County or Beaver County or somewhere to bowl. So, Jonah Clare got it just right where he was brought up on local lanes, and here he is bowling for high school. But
when I was a young man, there was a lot of bowling leagues for young kids. Shenango Bowl Away, Colonial Bowl Away. There was, and they were like Saturday morning things, and they had tournaments and events. And if there are no more bowling alleys in Lawrence County, and you're telling me they're not, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But this young man's the real deal. These are impressive numbers. This is no fluke.
We'll give you a little quiz, see how up on bowling you are. 3 strikes in a row, Larry, is a
turkey.
There you go. All right.
I never got one bowling, but my golf cart oftentimes had turkeys, 3 X's in a row, meaning I didn't finish the hole 3 times. They put an X on the card, and I used to tell people I just bowled the turkey.
Did anybody ever refer to you as 3 Strikes Kelly?
Not in baseball, brother. Listen, I didn't strike out too many times. If I swung the bat, I hit the ball. I did. Got called out a few times, but that was always the umpire's fault.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we have the Lord of the Lanes. Jonah Clare is our athlete of the week. Newcastle High, 208, 266, 289, 763 series. Come on back, because we'll be talking more Newcastle winter athletics, this time on the hardwood in a Red Hurricane Minute, starring Larry Kelly.
We all know there's an advantage to being the home team, to playing at home. And at LGKG, we have been your home team for personal injury cases involving automobile accidents and workers' compensation claims for over 90 years. At LGKG, over 10,000 clients have trusted us to represent them. We know how to present your case to a Western Pennsylvania jury. We know what makes them tick. We know how to win.
Okay, we're back with you here on Tip Off, and this is our talking points. The Red Hurricane Minute. Last week, the Newcastle High boys basketball team had a big week, 3 games, 3 big victories, and Larry Kelly is here to tell you all about what he saw from the bench. Larry, first off, how many games did you see last week?
I was there. I saw the Tuesday, Friday games against Pine Richland and the game against Fox Chapel. I didn't see the Mars game at the Rongel Breath Classic. My wife had plans for me on Saturday night.
All right, so I would have cashed that ticket. I said over under 2.5, so I would have on that.
But I'm going to tell you what I did see was impressive. Newcastle's playing better, Ronnie. We're playing better. We really are. And again, I think a telltale sign. I say this almost every week. When you play good offense, you get to the foul line. And when you play good defense, you keep them out of the paint. And if you look at the box scores from Tuesday and Friday, and if we start with Friday, Newcastle went to the line 19 times on Friday. And again, what does that tell me? That tells me we're running really, really good offense. And, that when you run good offense, you get the ball in the paint. And one of the main reasons that the ball is getting into the paint is a ninth grader named Kai Cox. I've been around a long time, Ronnie. I've seen a lot of ninth graders play basketball at Newcastle. I have, and I mean some really, really good ones. And I don't like to throw this out there in a cavalier fashion, but this young man might be the best ninth grader I've ever seen play at Newcastle. He really is playing great basketball, and it isn't just his ability to score the ball; it's himself, but for others. I mean, he has an ability off the dribble to get the ball in the paint and make a play, and I mean shots that aren't necessarily good shots for other people. They're good shots for him. He's able to finish around the rim. He's able to hit a pull-up elbow jumper. Those aren't the shots, the elbow jumpers we're normally looking for. And when they inevitably double team him, he dishes. I don't know how many assists he had against Fox Chapel, but he created for himself and he created for others. And, a way to look at that is you just look at the points that were scored by our forwards in that game. And I'm just looking at the ball. Jaden Schaefer had 10 points, and most of those came from feeds that were delivered by, by Kai Cox. And, if you look at defensively, Fox Chapel, big, strong, they only went to the line 12 times. What's that tell you? That we kept them out of the paint, that we were playing really good defense. I thought Friday's game was our best defensive game of the year. And I thought the game we played Tuesday against Pine Richland, again, if you look at the foul shots, we went to the line 14 times. So did they, or I should say they shot 14 foul shots. So did we. But it wasn't like some of the other games where the teams were shooting 2 or 3 times more foul shots than we do. We're running good offense. We're get the ball in the paint, and we're a good 3-point shooting team. I know we're going to talk about that, but that's who we are. We got everybody on the court can stroke it. Damian Harrison can stroke it. Of course, Ralphie Belundo has NBA range on his 3-pointer, and he gets it off so quick. Kai Cox can hit a 3. Kyrell Harris can hit a 3. These guys. Chase Lemon hit a really big 3 the other night. In the game against Seneca Valley that almost brought us back. So we're playing better basketball. We are offensively and defensively. We're playing better. And I'm going to tell you something. This is another big week. Tuesday, Friday, it's another big week for us. We got North Allegheny on Tuesday. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to Seneca Valley on Friday. So the key, and that's the key to all Ralph Belundo teams, we get better as the year goes on. You don't want to be playing your best basketball in December. You want to be playing your best basketball at the end of January, February, and March. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, it's bad news for everybody in 6A for sure, because Ralph Belundo has always said we want to use the holiday break to heal up, to get better, but also to get better. Play better, and that's what they're doing. They're playing their best basketball, and I think they're feeding off of that holiday break. It seems like they've gotten healthy enough, or healthier, and they're playing better.
Oh, there's no question about it. And it's, the game against Fox Chapel was our best defensive effort of the year, and we were playing man to man. We weren't using our 12 or 31 full court, half court trap. We held this team to 41 points. And in the second half, we held them to 14 points. And we were smothering them defensively. And that's always been who we are and what we're all about. Pressure defense, 94 feet of pressure defense. That's who we are. I had that discussion with Coach Belondo beginning of the year. I said, hey, Ralph, I wasn't at a lot of games last year because I wasn't coaching, but I watched them all pretty much on live stream. We're not pressuring anybody. We don't make them sweat defensively. We got to get back to who we are. And I'd say we're back. And again, we have some real talented players. Don't get me wrong. You can't win without good players. We do. But, we have great senior leadership. Ralphie Belondo is not only a great player, he's a great leader, the coach's son, and he kind of sets the tone for us defensively. Couple big plays. He took a charge in the Pine Richland game when it was a 3-point game and they're coming down on two on one. It looks like they're either going to get within a point or tie the game. He takes a charge. There's a loose ball early in the game against Fox Chapel, and my man dove on it like Superman. So again, senior leadership is important, and we have talented players. And nobody really more talented than this 9th grader, Kai Cox, kid special. He makes plays for himself and everybody else. Real high basketball IQ, unselfish. A lot of good stuff going on with the Newcastle Red Hurricane.
The momentum gained from the Pine Richland win on Tuesday certainly carried over into that Fox Chapel game. And I know when I talked to Ralph after the Pine Richland game and asked him his thoughts on Fox Chapel, and he says it's going to be a physical, it's going to be a war. They're a very physical basketball team. What makes them physical, Larry? Are they a good height, good size? Active down low.
Big and strong. They have 2 forwards that go get it. They go get it on the boards. 2 guys that, they take the ball to the rim. They shoot. If they miss, they go get their own rebound. Strong and physical. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But we defended. We were quicker. We pressured their guards, and it made it really difficult for them to find the post. And, and when they did get it in the post, our guys, Jaden Schaefer, Nate McKnight, those guys played strong, man. They played strong. We were fired up for the game. Before the game, there's always that little, that circle in the locker room where we've been doing the same thing for 12 years. And, the captain of the team, it's like, I don't know if you've ever been in there and heard it. It's pretty neat. Man, there was some thunder in that locker room before the game on Friday night. I come out because I like to get in there with the guys, you know what I mean? And I told Coach Belondo, I said, these guys are ready, Coach. They're ready. And we were, man. It was impressive win. Impressive win.
How difficult of a spot was that Mars game? You always hear quote unquote trap game. Well, here you are. You have 2 huge games last week, both in league against really strong opponents, Pine Richland and Fox Chapel. You win both of those. The mindset is, okay, now we're stepping out of league play. How are we going to handle it if you're a player or a coach? And took care of business against Mars in a spot where it would have been real easy to see a team, kind of take a step back against Mars.
Yeah, Mars is a really good basketball team too. It's a good program year in and year out. They're really good. And truth be told, they've given us trouble. Mars has beaten us the last couple times we've played them. But our guys came out and they were ready. And it was really a blowout. We blew them out. You're asking me, it was a blowout. It was a 20-point game, and we got on them early, and they never recovered. And, these guys are good. We're good, Ronnie. We're good. And again, it starts on the defensive end. It always does. If you look at the box score, 22-6 in the first period. Game's over. 22-6. We held them to 13 points in the first half. And again, that starts on the defensive end because Mars is good. Now, I didn't see the game, but, and again, we make threes. We had 8 of them. Damian had 3. Ralphie had 2. Kai had 2. Kyrell had 1. We're going to shoot a lot of threes, but we can stroke them. And that's the game. I know we're going to talk about that later on. But if you can't stroke the 3 ball in the game that is played today, pretty good chance you're not getting on the court. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's just the game. It is.
Yeah. Funny you should say 22-6 is over. That's a 16-point spread after one quarter. Tonight, the Elwood City girls basketball team was up 29-15 at the half and lost. Lost by, I think, 8 points. So
Yeah.
not always.
Well, they're not the Newcastle Red Hurricane. When
Right.
we jump on you 22-6, and then at halftime, the score, I think, was 35-13. Game over, because go order your hot dogs from P.O. Lunch and your fries, because it's over. Phone it in.
Yeah. Send the bill to you.
I got you, Ronnie. I got you covered, brother. I got you.
All right. Newcastle's on a 3-game winning streak now after Saturday's win over Mars. Newcastle now 5-1 in Section 1 6A and 11-1 overall. Red Hurricane have 2 games this week, both on the road at North Allegheny Tuesday, and North Allegheny's 1-5, 5-7, and this game ends the first half of section play, and then turn the page to the second half of section play on Friday at North Hills, 2-4, 3-10. So those are your 2 games this week: North Allegheny, and then the start of second half of section play Friday at North Hills.
Yeah, and it's hard to win on the road. I mean, you can't sleep on North Allegheny. They're struggling, but you can't sleep on them. Road games are tough. They're tough. It's hard to win in somebody else's gym.
I don't know how many teams they take to the playoffs and all that sort of thing, but Newcastle goes 2-0 this week to go 7-1 in league. If that doesn't officially lock up a playoff spot, Newcastle's going to be right on the verge of it.
I got to believe so, but we're not the Steelers. We don't just play to lock up a playoff spot. We play to win championships, Ronnie. Mm-hmm. Newcastle plays to win championships, section and Whippeal. That's who we play to be.
All right, and let's transition over to the Newcastle Lady Canes. Newcastle now, after tonight's 67-42 loss to West Allegheny, as we filmed this on Monday night, Newcastle is now 0-6 in Section 3 5A and 7-7 overall. Last week, Friday night, Newcastle snapped a 3-game losing streak by beating Hopewell at home. That was the game right in front of the Fox Chapel game Friday night. So kind of tough times, Larry, for the Newcastle girls after starting so well this year.
I mean, the program is turning. It doesn't change overnight. We have a 1,000-point scorer, Rihanna Boyce. It's been a long time, at least in my memory, before Newcastle women had a 1,000-point scorer. You know, that's progress. We got a freshman, Karma Chalala, who's a pretty good player. She's a 9th grader. It takes time. And when you're playing in the section we're playing in, these teams are really, really good, Ronnie. So, you know, they didn't have 70 wins at the midway point last year. And I'm not so sure they had 7 wins in the previous 2 years. So we're moving the needle in the right direction, but it doesn't happen overnight. You know, I used to be there when I was coaching my team, the 9th grade team. Oftentimes I would run into the women's practice, the girls' practice, and they're working hard. But it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. Where you start in the junior high program. You know, Brian Rice helps at the junior high program now. Brian's a great coach, and you know, it doesn't happen overnight. We're making progress. It may not seem like it, but 7-7 is progress for the Newcastle girls.
The more you've mentioned about a 1,000-point score, I don't know off the top of my head, but it seems like within the last 3 or 4 years they had a girl go over 1,000, but she didn't get up too far over, I don't think. And
I don't remember that if it happened, and we should know that. But again, that's progress. To score 1,000 points in a high school career, not too many people do that.
Yeah. I spoke with Cara DiNardo Joseph that night when Rihanna Boyce went over 1,000 points. And one of the things she told me is, you know, she earns everything she gets. She puts in all the hard work, works really hard, you know, all that sort of stuff. The shame of it is, and as she mentioned, you know, this is her 4th year. She's a senior. To this point, in the first 3 years, she's played in a grand total of 0 playoff games. So she's getting a lot of points without the benefit of extra games at the end of your 22 games.
That's true. I mean, you know, if you've been a part of the Newcastle boys program, you've probably played somewhere 6 or 8 playoff games every year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, an average of 6, think about that. Times 4, it's 20. It's a whole nother season. So to get that 1,000 points without those extra games is even more impressive.
Absolutely.
Doesn't happen. And, basketball is a skill game, man. You got to work at it. And to score 1,000 points on a team that struggled somewhat in recent years is, again, it's an impressive accomplishment and feat. And I think Rihanna is the sister of Isaiah Boyce.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I coached Isaiah. He was guaranteed in the top 3 players that I ever coached, and maybe the best. He was good, and he had a great career as a varsity player, starting as a 9th grader.
And so Rihanna, just a great work ethic. Worked really hard. Great teammate for the teammates around him. So, that it's no surprise about either one of them.
No, very gifted players.
I'll certainly introduce the topic and give my 2 cents on what I see and stuff like that. And
yeah, I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, broski, let's do it.